The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to Quantum Touch Radio, supercharging your life with Jennifer Noel Taylor. Jennifer and Dr. Pat take you on a quantum journey to discover how to supercharge your life, working with universal healing quantum touch principles. Imagine knowing how to accelerate, revitalize, and engage in ways you've never experienced. In this hit show, we reveal powerful, simple steps to create more abundance, better health, emotional and mental vibrancy, and happier relationships. Imagine being simple and supercharged to cultivate life force energy for yourself and others. Get ready to be astounded. Now, here are your hosts.
Henry Van Bergewald.
Jennifer Noel Taylor.
And hey, this is Dr. Pat, and we got a great show for you guys today. We are here because it's everywhere. And it's an interesting energy because most of us may have a different sense of that. But it's showing up now in like different ways. Today, we're going to talk about the new paradigm in healing and how quantum touch supercharged. We're going to hear from Henry, and we're going to hear from Jennifer, and we're going to hear from me. Because there's an aspect of healing today with the three of us that really touches upon the body, the mind, the spirit, and beyond. And the question that comes to mind is, if it's available, if it's right there with all of us now, if we have it, then why is it we're not tapping into the new paradigm? Wow. Jennifer, thank you for today. Henry, thank you for today. And look, I want to start with you for a little bit, Jennifer, if we could. When you said yes to stepping up into this realm, becoming someone, not just leading the charge, but really working with quantum touch, really being that person that is making things happen there. The energy of that, the energy of saying, yes, I'm going to step in and I am going to work with years of standing on the shoulders of people that have come before and take quantum touch to a new conversation. I want to know from you, Jennifer, and then Henry, from you as well. What was it about you, your life, that calling? What was it that happened? Did you get hit with a brick? Did you get touched by a feather? What was it that brought you to your giant supercharged yes?
So what happened that brought me to even get involved with quantum touch? I didn't get touched by a feather or hit by a brick. I tend to be a bit moody a lot of the times. And so basically, I was just depressed with my current life. I was really depressed with my current life. So, I mean, extremely depressed with my current life. I was doing something I didn't love. I was working as a software developer. I hated my job. I hated the environment. I know hate's a strong word, but that's pretty much sums it up.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah. And so sometimes when I get that depressed, my attitude gets into, well, I have nothing to lose. I might as well go do something different, right? So I get to that. That's where I get sometimes. So that's where I ended up because I just got to that point of, I think sometimes we surrender to something new when we've just kind of done with our current situation. And that was me. And I don't know everyone else's story. Maybe I'm sure Henry has something a little more inspirational than born out of depression.
No, that's pretty. Look, I'll tell you
what happened.
That is what happens though, because I looked at my life before I dialed this wrong phone number 15 years ago. I was depressed. So maybe that seems to be a gateway for something. But, Henry, how about you? Look, we're talking about energy healing. We're talking about what you said yes to. We're talking about quantum touch as well. So you too had to experience something before you came to your yes.
I was extraordinarily empathic to the point where I couldn't distinguish what was my feeling or another person's feeling. Mm-hmm. I couldn't share food with people. So basically, I had become a recluse. living in the middle of a big city, Boston, and who had to leave her home, who was right at the finish line of the marathon because there were too many people and I could feel them crowding. So I basically did my day job and basically said, there's got to be more to life than this. And it wasn't until I happened to open this newspaper and I saw this advertisement for a class and something said, attend. Something inside me drew me to attend the class. Mm. And I didn't even know what energy healing was. Of course I couldn't do it. Don't be ridiculous. That was my attitude. But something said, go. And I did.
Well, and what we're talking about with both of you today is that what you are part of, and Jennifer, for you are part of that leadership team at Quantum Touch. And, when I say that, people say, oh, is that me really? But you said a yes to step into an arena to continue opening up the doors for people like Henry. Henry, for you, we're looking at what you're doing and the healing work you're doing as well, right? And so that particular moment became a tipping point, a crossroads for you, just as it did for you, Jennifer. And for me, I was so depressed. I transposed numbers anyway. I don't even know how I graduated school. And I transposed a number and I dialed in, and I'm telling you, I didn't hang up. But this point, right, for the three of us, do each of you think it set you on a pathway to heal something within yourself? Jennifer, how about you? And then Henry, you.
I feel like when we follow our heart, follow our inspiration, as Henry said, it basically, it's not the candy-coated rainbow fairies and kittens path that we think it should be. And what I noticed is that a lot of my stuff came up and continues to come up as a growth path, and it wasn't that that we get discouraged. Like, a lot of us follow our heart and then we expect this rainbow kitten fairy existence. I know I was. And so much to my surprise, it wasn't that. And it's not that the universe is telling us now we should quit, because that was my first thought. I've had that multiple times,
right.
Right? Oh, this is too hard. I should just quit.
Yeah.
I'm sure we've all had that, honestly. So I think ultimately it's not about quitting. It's about, wow, all right, now I have to learn something new, and then I have to learn this about myself, and I need to process this, and wow, that came up, and it's really about our own growth process, and that's, to me, what I learned. So I don't know if, Henry, you've had the same.
Yeah, Henry, what was that like for you?
For me, I learned to manage my energy. I learned to understand how my energy worked. I learned to understand how to connect to my heart, so that I could follow the intuition from that deep sense.
Yeah.
And when you have that as the foundation, your life has a bedrock to it that it doesn't have before.
Yeah.
That changes everything. It galvanizes and things align in ways that are magical and brings up the most amazing crap you've ever experienced. But it also galvanizes. It's wonderful, and because it keeps spiraling you deeper into that journey, and you just keep going.
Yeah. Today we're talking about the new paradigm in healing and how Quantum Touch supercharged your life, Henry, right? And I would say, each of us has had a part of that journey. But I want to talk about two words. And Jennifer, I don't know if we did this before, but I really looked at the word supercharged. And I happened to use it over this past week. And I got so many people asking questions about it. And one of the things I decided to do is I decided to look it up. I decided to look the word up, because what I realized when I talked about doing the show today and, quantum touch and supercharging your life. There were so many questions. Here's the thing. People relate to the word supercharged in a lot of ways. And I don't know if it's because we love talking about all the superheroes now that are out into pop culture, but they love this idea. And so when I looked it up, one of the definitions is supply with extra energy or power. And I want to ask you, Henry, about you. Did quantum touch enable that to happen for you in your life, and then now for you to help other people achieve that? That's just one definition. Another one is having powerful emotional overtones. And I got to tell you, I don't know where that definition came from, but I like it.
Absolutely. It helps. It completely allows an extra energy to come through. You're able to work with your innate rhythms. You're able to work with skills you have. But for me, quantum touch it's like having a user manual, for the system I'm born in. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's so foundational and it's so basic to being human that I don't know why everybody doesn't know this technique, because it's that essential. I went from being a recluse who couldn't handle shopping malls or parades to teaching flying in crowded planes, teaching in crowded cities, Tokyo, South Korea, Shanghai. These are places where you don't go if you can't be around people.
Right.
And I couldn't have done that before I knew quantum touch. Mm. So and I think somebody in the universe has a real cosmic sense of humor, because they're laughing at all this, because here's the recluse on these planes and doing these things. That's what the energy does. Mm. It takes you different places.
I love that we're talking. I love that we're talking about this, because part of what we're talking about, Jennifer, too, is, a new paradigm. We're talking about a new paradigm of healing. And I love that we're putting together the words quantum touch. And for those of you out there, I just want to make sure as we're talking about that, please go and look at the website. Go to the website, because once you go to quantumtouch.com, you're going to see the energy there, the words there. You're going to see the opportunity for classes that you might take there. But you're also going to see an opportunity to really tap into a healing energy that you may not have known exist. And that's why we're talking about a new paradigm. So let's talk about what new paradigm means. Because when you put the word quantum together with supercharged, it's almost equates to, from a scientific point of view, an exponential boost in just about anything we want to apply this to, right? So it's like, if I say, yes, I'm going to supercharge my life and I'm going to use the principles quantum touch healing, right? I better be fastening a seatbelt, because stuff's going to happen, right? Jennifer, what do you think?
Well, I feel like when we start getting into energy healing, one of the things that happens is that it has the potential to radically improve our life if we can work with the energy. So, for example, a lot of people come to quantum touch because they're in some kind of physical pain. Yeah. And I'm very practical with how do we apply this energy to stuff in our life. And one of the things that we can do is we can use quantum touch and the new paradigm to get ourselves out of pain. And that's that simple. You don't have to live in pain. Yeah. You don't have to live in misery. You don't have to, be suffering physically. I also like to use it for financial, for wealth creation and finance, because we don't have to suffer around money. We don't have to feel like we're struggling around money. We don't have to feel like we're just making ends meet and barely surviving. And I know a lot of people feel like they're barely surviving, and a lot of people are in pain. So, and I'm not any different than anyone else in that I have had a lot of physical pain, and I've also suffered financially. And I feel like if I can do it, anyone can, because I don't have any discipline. Um, like I like to just spend money. I like to eat junk food. I like to I'm not very a disciplined type of person in some respects.
I know, me either.
So we can,
Me
so
either.
so the nice part is we can use this energy to shift things rather than trying to force ourselves to do stuff we don't like to shift things. So the energy is it's a much more fun way, in my opinion, to make shifts in your life. Because imagine if you didn't have to cut your spending in ways that were uncomfortable to save more money and attract more money, right? Because a lot of us have been taught, well, all right, I'm trying to save money and get out of debt. I need to create a budget. I need to be like I need to stick to this budget. I need to suffer. I need to be in pain. I need to deny myself everything I like to stick to this rigid budget so I can get ahead financially. That's one way to go about it. I think it's effective. I don't like to do that. I like to eat chocolate and buy shoes. So sticking to a budget is really hard for me. So working with the energy is much more fun. It's much more interesting. It also tends to bring up all your stuff. The same with physical pain. I think a lot of us who are in pain think of like, well, now I have to go to the doctor, and now I have to get a shot, and now I have to go get subject to this medication or get this chemo or do all this, and it's all painful. It's all miserable. I hate going to the doctor, right? Oh. So there's just another way. There's another way to work with all of this to make change. And it's working with energy, and I find the energy a lot more fun. So
yeah, I find energy a lot more fun. And finally, we're talking about what you're referring to. We're talking about the energy, and we're talking about our ability as human beings, as individuals, to harness that energy. And I think that that's part of the new paradigm. Henry, what do you think? I think up until now, it's always been the energy of that thing and the energy of that thing and the energy of that thing. But what you both are talking about is something we have inside of us.
And it's win.
Yeah, go ahead,
It's
Henry.
win-win. It's win-win, Pat. It's not, well, I have to suffer here to gain that, or I help you and then I feel worse, or you help me and then you're drained. And, the new paradigm is win-win, and there is no downside. So with quantum touch, with the new paradigm techniques, as you were both saying, you get to add to the energy flow. The helper, we're talking quantum touch here, the person offering the energy gets the benefit of the energy before the other person ever receives it. So it's completely benevolent. And there is no loser in this equation. You know, the old adage that do as I say, not do as I do.
Right.
All these in unequal paradigms that just aren't sustainable. This is sustainable.
I got a question over the weekend, Henry, to what you're talking about, and I want to ask you both about it. I was talking with someone who, right now, anytime you mention somebody, everybody's got a smartphone. So they bring it up on the smartphone, right? You don't even finish what you're saying, and right away everybody's got. And the question came up, wow, this is kind of cool. Can my kids be supercharged? Can I get my kids supercharged? And then it led to the next question. Can other people can this quantum touch approach, can it be applied to me, but can it also be applied, for example, to a loved one? And I just thought for a minute, I don't know the answers to those questions, but I have a feeling it has to do with intention, because this is about healing ourselves and others. Isn't it, Henry? Is that what you were referring to a little bit there?
Well, I think the healer is always within the self. Mm-hmm. And so within each of us is this brilliant intelligence that works so much more powerfully than conscious mind, but includes what's the depths and the heights that we all exist in. And that part of us knows how to handle the energy and knows what to do with the energy. As Richard used to say, we can't find our car keys half the time. Why do we think we know better than this innate intelligence inside the body, mind, and spirit? And so The wonderful thing is that you can offer the energy, and that intelligence deep within the recipient is going to use it. And if that inner intelligence says, no, thank you, we don't need the energy today, then that energy will go to the upstairs neighbor or the dog outside or the tree or the plant. Or what do you think, Jennifer?
Yeah, Jennifer.
I want to hear.
I think first of all, it's really common in relationships, whether you're married and you have kids. The thing that I see most of all is like, how can I get my husband to change? Right? I mean, that's the most common complaint. I wish my kids would be quiet. I wish my husband would change. So here's where energy comes in. So instead of focusing on trying to change everyone around you, which I've spent a lot of time trying to do that, I don't think it works very well. Really what we can do is we can change ourselves using energy. And a lot of times when we change ourselves, things change around us. And that's how I like to use it, is saying, wow, I was really triggered by that, and that sucked over there. Let's look at, how my energy created that and how I can shift my energy. And so you're healing yourself, which affects everyone around you in a really positive way. So that's how I like to use it. As far as kids, a lot of our kids or our pets are responding to mama, So, so when mama changes, the kids change. When mama changes, the husband changes. It's really everyone's responding to our energy, and that's ultimately what's going on underneath the surface.
Yeah, I mean, I'm somebody that used to coach kids, like in sports, like I still do now, but my sport has changed. And I learned a lot about parenting or not parenting from watching parents watch their children attempt to perform. And so I wish I would have had some of the tools I have now, but you're right about that. We sometimes do look outside. One of the things I learned is that if I'm looking at somebody for a thing, whatever it is, whether it's something that had to be changed or, somebody a little pessimistic or something, I've learned to stop and ask myself the question, what part of that thing is going on within me and what can I do about it? And that has been one of the most difficult questions to ask myself. I mean, it's taken a lot of work. I had a coach once that made me stand in front of the mirror when somebody annoyed me and had me stand in front of the mirror and look at the face that I had, right, on. And ask myself in a loving way, is there something within me that needs to be healed? And I want to talk about that when we come back from break, because the new paradigm in healing, which we don't talk about very often, we tend to think about our bodies, right? This is a body. Something's not working in my body. But now the science is really pointing to, well, there may be something that is wounded, maybe in your mind. Maybe there's something that's wounded emotionally. Maybe that thing you're afraid of is because at age 4, you stepped in a hornet's nest and got eaten alive by bees. Maybe that's what's going on there. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about what this new paradigm means for something Jennifer said. Your entire life. What if you had the potentiality to understand the laws of quantum touch to supercharge your life the way Jennifer has done, the way Henry has done, the way I have done? What if you could learn something that could literally create a massive shift? Because that's what quantum and supercharge together mean. Exponential change. We're going to take a short break, everyone. When we come back, I'm going to give you lots of information about Jennifer, lots of information about Henry. I'm Dr. Pat. I get to have these conversations, and I love it. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Join Jennifer Noel Taylor on the hit show Quantum Touch Radio, supercharging your life on TransformationTalkRadio.com. You'll take a quantum journey as we reveal powerful yet simple steps to create more abundance, better health, emotional and mental vibrancy, and happier relationships using universal quantum touch principles. For more information, Visit JenniferNoelTaylor.com.
Demystifying the journey on From Here to There Radio with your host, Diane Garris. Tune in every third Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific Time on TransformationTalkRadio.com as Diane helps you get from where you are now to the life you envision. Get ready to get unstuck and move forward. Every show features a new special segment, New Age Notes, demystifying hot metaphysical topics of the day. For more information or to work with Diane, visit DianeGarris.com.
Ignite your inner magic on Grow Your Soul Radio with Jane Matanga. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio as host Jane Matanga explores how to overcome your fears to help you gain the inspiration you need to awaken your path to joy. Learn the way to life mastery and the enlightened path with Grow Your Soul Radio. For more information on Jane Matanga and her work, visit enlightened-path.com.
Tune in to The Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit JenRoyster.com for more information.
Healing Beyond Symptom Management into True Wellness with Jessica Dooley on Purely You Radio. Tune in every third Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific as Jessica guides you to find and embrace your purest self. Not the self that is shown on social media, not the self that is created in your family's eyes, but your purest version of you. Purely You Radio supports true wellness, not just symptom management. For more information about working with Jessica Dooley, visit purelyyouhealing.com.
Are you ready to stop stress, anxiety, and low self-esteem from running your life? Join award-winning author Dr. Friedemann Schaub for Empowerment Radio and learn breakthrough solutions to switch out of survival mode and approach every day with great ease, joy, and purpose. Tune in the first and third Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific to Empowerment Radio with host Dr. Friedemann Schaub on Transformation Talk Radio. Visit thefearandanxietysolution.com to learn more.
Learn how to be you in today's world on New Soul Radio. Follow host Ruby Betty each month on Transformation Talk Radio as she introduces new rules for new souls in these new times. As a powerful spiritual thought leader, modern mystic, and clairsentient, Ruby Betty is propelled toward a single goal: to awaken human beings to their fullest potential. For more information on Ruby and her work, visit rubybetty.co.
Wow. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's so great to have all of you tuning us in and turning us on. It is really amazing for me to wake up every day and I get to look at my life in ways I hadn't looked at it before. But I'm kind of like Jennifer. I mean, I wake up some days and I have to figure out what mood am I in at the moment for today. And I do that check. But I have a lot more tools today than I used to have. In the world we live in, there's so much at our fingertips that we could learn. And both of you, I'd love for you each to share, one, how people can find out more about you, talk a little bit about your websites, talk a little bit as well, Jen, if you will, about quantum touch and what people can do if they elect to take the same pathway Henry took. And then Henry, for you as well.
Okay, great. So I'll start. So we have a website, quantumtouch.com. And one of the biggest offerings that we have is you can take a live workshop with one of our instructors. We have about 250 instructors around the world. We have classes going on in Hong Kong, the United States, the UK, even South Africa, Australia. You name it, we have a class going on there. And so if you're interested in how to work with energy, how to feel energy, how to connect to this universal life force energy, I would highly recommend taking one of our level 1 workshops. It's a great introduction. A lot of people, after they finish the workshop, they have been able to feel energy. They've been able to do a healing session. They've been able to see results. It's pretty instantaneous for a lot of people. So that's what I would recommend starting there.
Wow.
And I'll let Henry talk about, she has a lot of stuff going on. She teaches quantum touch, but she has a lot of other stuff as well. So Henry.
Cool.
Thank you. I want to comment about quantum touch because I can tell you, when I took my first class in quantum touch, I didn't think much would come of it. I just knew I had to be there at the workshop, and it completely changed the rest of my life about how I live in the world, how I feel comfortable in my skin. This level 1 workshop that Jennifer just talked about, we do some pretty amazing things. It's far from basic, although it's accessible if you had no background. I certainly didn't. I had zero confidence. The only reason I took it was that Richard guaranteed that everyone could learn it. He guaranteed it in that time. And I went, oh, that means even me. So if you're shy, don't worry. You can do this. I've never met anyone who couldn't learn this technique. It's how far you go with it just depends on how much you want to feel good. Do you want to feel your joy? Okay, so now I'm going to get back.
Well, how about you? Tell us how we can find out more about you.
Yeah, that part I forgot to tell you. Yeah. So I have a couple of websites. One is healing-in-hawaii.com. I'm based in Honolulu, but I travel to lots of places to teach, mostly in Asia, but I also teach on the East Coast, U.S. Well, I've taught many places. So I teach twice a year in Japan, once or twice a year in China. I've taught in Australia. And so anyway, my schedule on my website, I don't have time to update my website.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have this problem?
Yes, so people do.
Please email me, Henry, with an I, at HENRI, at healing-in-hawaii.com. And let me know if you want a class in your area. And we teach quantum touch, all the different levels of quantum touch. And then I also have another modality that I work with called Energy Alive. And so I have a website about that as well.
Yeah, I want to make sure everybody has that. Energy-alive.com.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, this brings me back to what I said before the break. And I want to start out with you, Jennifer, if we could. One of the things I learned 15 years ago after I started this radio journey, which I didn't have any idea it would lead to owning a network on Positive Talk, was I got sick. I got sick 6 months after saying yes to something that changed my life. And what I realized later on, not at that point in time, was that what was going on with me had less to do, I think, with my body and more to do with fear, doubt, hesitation. I have a whole list. And I'd like for you, Jennifer, to talk to that, and Henry, you as well. Sometimes what might be happening to us, right, may not be evident on the surface. Because I got to tell you, if you knew me, you'd never guess I was sick. Not in a million years. You'd never pick it up. Listen, Jennifer, I put the ball back in your court because I want to talk about the new paradigm, which isn't just about the body. How about the emotions? How about what we're experiencing in our minds? How about our thoughts? How about all that seems to be what? Slowing us down.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I think a lot of people, if I'm not mistaken, they wake up and they don't want to do their day. I mean, I used to be like this. They wake up, they get out of bed and like, oh, I gotta go to work. I gotta do whatever. They're not thrilled to be here. Or they have some health condition that, is bothering them. Their knee hurts or their back hurts or, they have to go to the doctor and, pull a tooth or whatever it is. And all this stuff can be really emotionally disheartening and depressing. And I think what the deal is that we all are looking for an external solution to all this type of stuff. We're looking at, all right, maybe if I take this drug or if I do whatever, everything will get better. But the problem is it doesn't, because really what's going on is these problems in our life, the fact that we have a job we don't like, or the fact that our knee hurts, or the fact that our back hurts is a reflection of what this energy going on inside of us. So, for example, if my knee hurts, it's because something within me hurts. Something within my emotional body, something within my heart actually hurts. And my knee's just expressing that to show me that there's something going on within that's out of balance. And that's a completely different paradigm about looking at disease and looking at pain, because a lot of us still think, all right, I need to fix this. Like I need to fix the body like they're fixing a car. I need to take it into the shop or the doctor, get the knee worked on, come out, and now my car will be working. But that's not how we work. It's actually an emotional issue. So that's how I like to use the new paradigm. So if something's going on in my life that's not working, or if I even want to improve something, or the people in our company are unhappy, or something's going on like that, I look within. I say, okay, why is my energy creating this? And I think one of the hard parts is to really relate that to other people's behavior. So when somebody, let's say, when somebody criticizes you or does something that you feel upset about, it's not about them. It's really looking like, how did I generate this? And I think it's a really big paradigm shift. But once you start looking within, you can actually start making real changes. And that's the message I want to get across, because when I started looking within, I'm no longer, I don't have any pain. You don't have to struggle with your life.
Yeah. Yeah, I love this conversation, because I got to use this really not too long ago. And Henry, I want you to jump on this here too. Is I fell playing my table tennis sport that I love to play. Look at me, I get all lit up just talking about it, right? And I fell. My foot got caught. I was going after a shot. Made the point though, and it got my foot caught on the divider that separates the tables, right? It was just a freak thing, right? It was one of those things where I ran, the thing got caught on my shoes. It was just, and I fell. And so it's a bunch of months ago. And so I had a little achy thing going on. And so they sent me for x-rays, contrast MRIs, all of this, right? And I get all this done, and I get the x-ray, get the results. And the doctor says to me something like, look, we're not going to worry about your hip. But the doctor says something to me like this: we don't know how you're walking. And I just looked at all three doctors said the same thing. And they proceeded to tell me, and I put my hands over my ears, and I said, if you really want to know the answer to your question, go to quantumtouch.com. That's what I said to him. I said, if you really want to know the answer to that, or if you're just giving me one of these hypothetical, blah, blah, blah questions that you think I don't have an answer to, then we're done. But if you really want to know that, go here. And believe it or not, one of the doctors of the three actually did, and emailed me, because you have to communicate in email now. Nobody picks up the phone and calls you anymore. I mean, like if my doctor called me, Dr. Darvish does call me, so outside of her. But they looked at and they said, what is this was the question, what is available to the medical profession for this? And I said, this is now me not knowing. I said, you know what, go over there, listen to the podcast from Jennifer. But the bottom line is, this is available to everybody. Just because you got an MD or a PhD or whatever at the end of your name, it isn't about this. But isn't this now the new paradigm? See, this is what I'm excited about, because in 2004, when I was diagnosed with, I didn't have this. Now I just say, you really want to know why I'm not in a wheelchair? Go over here and look. I don't know. Does that sound like a good answer to you too?
Amen.
Because you just don't know what to say, right? I mean, to explain to people, it takes a conversation like we're having now, right? Let's talk about, I want to
Go
ask
ahead.
you, Henry.
There are doctors and nurses who are
Yes.
taking this. There are doctors who are practicing using quantum touch. In the very first class I taught back in 2000, which was a very long time ago, we had 4 doctors, 3 nurses in the workshop as students. My very first client was a medical doctor in a big city on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So and there are doctors I know that are in Japan that are using quantum touch in their practice. They're dentists. They're in all different specialties. We've had physicists attend the workshop. We've had scientists. We've had engineers. We've had everyone. It's open to everyone.
Yeah. Don't you find, I mean, I think if you're somebody like me, and Jennifer, I want to ask you this, is that there's no easy way for a lay person like me to understand the power and potential of this healing modality, this new paradigm, unless somebody really wants to sit down with me and understand what are some of the things I did, called a practitioner, got work done on my body. I mean, you can explain it, but I think much is to be learned from people looking and going to quantum touch and looking at this and getting involved. Jennifer, what's your experience with people that have said, I want to learn more about this and I want to use it in my practice?
Well, I feel like a lot of people ask where to get started. And I always say the level 1 workshop, because that's a great way. It's a great introduction. And also what I feel is really important is actually doing the work on other people. So just trying to learn it from a book. I mean, if you have no other resources, a book is great, but really practicing on other people. And that's what the level 1 workshop allows you to do. You go to the class, you have other people, you get to practice, you get to do an hour-long healing session. I feel like that's really important because then you can see it in action. I'm kind of a rubber meets the road type of person.
Rubber meets the white ball.
Yeah, that's right. So I don't like to tell people to do stuff unless I feel like it's actually effective, right? I mean, I don't like to say, I think a lot of people wonder, well, how can this energy actually affect my real world, affect my real life? And I think that's important to really get across, that this isn't just some airy-fairy philosophy that we're talking about. This actually has real world effects. And to me, that's the exciting part, to see what happens in our real world. And I do that in quotes because I'm starting to realize how much this world is like a reflection of energy. So the reality what is real starts to come up. But anyways, I really like to see it have effects. And that's why I believe taking a live workshop and actually working on people is really important.
Yeah. I'm so glad you pointed that out. The other thing that goes with, Jennifer, is your description of what happens when people do take the courses and do the work and then actually apply it, and to see that there are results that happen from that teaching. I think that's so important to experience it. Henry, how about you?
I think depending on the background of the person who receives who's taking the class, for instance, a lot of the medical people will take it and use it, whether they tell their colleagues about it. That's the area that we don't quite hear as much about. And that's what I'm hoping starts to expand more and more and more. But I know that it's being used because I get feedback, from the people. I'm just one teacher, so I hear from people but I hear from other teachers as well. We have other quantum touch teachers that work primarily in medical settings, and so they're experiencing similar. So,
well, I mean, for me, I'm very fortunate. Number one, that I moved from the East Coast to Seattle. Now, why am I very excited about that? Because I now know that what's going on in Seattle is just like all my friends on the East Coast. Linda doesn't say it anymore, but all my friends on the East Coast say. They say to me, you finally found a place where you belong, because you're from another planet, Pat. So you finally found a place over there where you really belong. And yet at the same time, you both are considered innovators and pioneers in the same vein, right? You're considered visionaries. And I want to ask this question. You know, Jennifer, let's start with you, because I know your passion and your purpose, and Henry, you as well. But I am so interested in what we might do to supercharge and accelerate the world's knowledge about this new paradigm. Because I'm telling you, my friends in the Lyme community, Lyme disease community, that I've told about this and reaching out for practitioners, there's something to be said. But I want to know from each of you, what do we need to do to spread the word here?
I feel like, well, one of the things I feel like people struggle with is, why is there so much suffering in the world? People go hungry, you know, the crime and all of that. And I feel like we have the ability to really shift that. It's not hopeless. A lot of people feel like it's hopeless. There's nothing I can do. I'm just a one person. And I feel like the way to bring this work out there is to really expand the work within. The more that I tap into the energy, the more that I connect and maybe even inspire, hopefully at some point inspire other people. Just because the more we tap into that energy, the more people feel it and are attracted to what we're doing over here. So I just feel like if we can supercharge and continue to supercharge our own energy, continue to take more and more responsibility for what we're creating in our lives, continue to connect to our heart. This is really about connecting to our heart. People feel that and they say, wow, I want to be a part of that. That's really cool what's going on over there. And I really just want to get that message across that all this suffering and everything that we see and all this stuff going on, you're not too small to make a difference. You can make a difference just by shifting yourself, because that energy ripples out the world. And that's really, Henry's nodding yes. So Henry, please, I know you do this. So yeah.
Live it. That's the only, live it.
Yeah, and I want to say Henry's been doing an amazing job. You know, she's really turned into one of the leaders in our organization. She's taking all our curriculum, and with her and Miriam, they basically took all our curriculum and actually made manuals and really, we've really improved what we're teaching due to them. So I just wanted to say that. She's doing an amazing job. We all embrace this idea of, as she said, live it.
Yeah. I mean, I love that you both are here today to talk about quantum touch in so many ways, because one of the paradigms that I love is that you recognize and appreciate each other. And that energy right there, that's a quantum energy. You know, that idea of appreciation is so important in the world we live in. And I can't remember who I was listening to or watching about that. You know, this idea of acknowledging someone for their contribution builds an energetic, supercharged boost that we can all build upon. Henry, is that what you find as well, especially in the work that you do? And I mean, you said it, you're out there traveling, you're busy, you're spreading the word. What are people saying when they receive this?
Well, mostly their faces change. These masks of gray peel away from their whole body, and you just see life. One gentleman in Japan, and sort of businessmen in Japan are not known for their emotional expressiveness, shall we say. He came up after, and he actually wrote me a letter thanking me, and he said, I now feel I am saying hello to my life for the first time.
Wow.
And when I saw him 2 weeks later, after he'd been doing the technique every day for 2 weeks, I didn't recognize him. He looked 20 years younger. And this was someone who'd been trained and culturated in the traditional style, and there is much to recommend that traditional style, but quantum energy finds its home wherever it, wherever the heart is, and he found his. So, whatever your upbringing, wherever you are, wherever. I certainly didn't have any belief system that allowed this. Good heavens, open that door. You have nothing to lose,
I thank you both so much for this. The hour went by so quickly. I want to send everybody to quantumtouch.com. And Henry, for you, give out your website one more time. And thank you both for today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
www.healing-in-hawaii.com and energy-alive.com.
Jennifer, thank you so much. Henry, thank you both. Thank you both.
Thank you, Dr. Pat.
Thank you so much.
And for those of you out there, please, quantumtouch.com. You're going to see lots of information. There's also a really cool download. Get plugged in, find out what this new paradigm is about, and say yes to your own amazing supercharged life. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to Quantum Touch Radio, supercharging your life with Jennifer Noel Taylor. Tune in on TransformationTalkRadio.com as you take a quantum journey and tap into universal healing quantum touch principles to create an amazing supercharged life. For more information about Jennifer, visit JenniferNoelTaylor.com. And remember, accelerate, revitalize, and engage in your supercharged life.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.